Hello everyone, it's me, Rudolphs Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel, and don't forget, donate the links below. And check my out on Amazon. While I'm washing the dishes now, here in the morning, I thought I can record an audio also for YouTube. So that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. So you may hear some dishes and some water running in the background. Don't be distracted by that. My voice is loud and all that anyway, but anyway. Let me tell you a little story about Jack. When Jack was a little boy, 8 years old, he used to travel with his father. His father had a pickup truck. And his father, James, used to have barrels of gasoline in the back of the truck. And Jack grew up seeing this. So for him, it was completely normal to get barrels of gasoline and put them in the back of his vehicle. He also did it throughout his life after getting his driver's license. One day, he's at a gas station filling one of the big jars with gasoline. He paid for the gasoline, so he didn't steal it. So he paid for it. After he paid for it, and he was driving home, he was stopped by the sheriff. Not just any police officer, by the sheriff of the town. And he was placed under arrest. A long story short, he was not charged with any felony, nor any wrongdoing, but he got a warning. Then next time he may face actual charge for endangering the public. And he asked the judge, Your Honor, how did I endanger the public? I didn't steal, I didn't rob, anything like that. And the judge looked at him, Sir, what you were doing is extremely dangerous for yourself. Gasoline is highly flammable, especially if you transport it the way you did. I don't know who taught you to do this, but this is what you were. Listen, sir. You smoke from time to time also, we figured out. If you would have lit a cigarette in that car with all the gasoline in the back, a big chance your car would have blown up, you would have been dead. If you were in traffic, it would have killed other people too. And Jack thought, I never heard about this. Anyway, he was released. After being released, he did his research and he found out indeed that what he was doing was extremely dangerous. And Jack was shocked. And Jack was thinking, but hold on a minute. Everyone I grew up with put jars and sometimes even barrels of gasoline in the back of the cars. I mean, what the hell? So Jack spoke about this with one of his nephews who was into journalism, and his nephew told them, Jack, back in the day, there were not many gas stations around. You hear me? And don't forget that you grew up in Montana. There were not many gas stations around, so that was the only way people could secure gas for their cars. And even back then, people knew it was quite dangerous. But they knew it's either that or they can't drive at all. And because there was no good arranged public transport, because railways were almost non-existent in many areas, that's how they did it. But since the government established more gas stations, people stopped doing that. It's only your family that was so used to it that they kept doing it. And thank God you were arrested by the sheriff, because you were putting your life at risk, your life, other people's life over and over again. Jackson had to process this. But okay, let me give you another story right now. Jeffrey bought ham for Christmas. And he asked his wife, Jennifer, to prepare the ham. Long story short, Jennifer cut the edge of the ham and threw them away. So the day before Christmas, Jeffrey was throwing away trash and he realized, whoa, why is all this delicious ham in here? And then he found out that the wife just cut off the edge of the ham, and he was thinking, what? And I confronted her, darling, why are you throwing away a big portion of ham? And she looked at him like, what are you talking about? She said, hey, it goes. He talked about it with the mother of Jennifer. And the mother didn't think it was strange also. But then he talks to the grandmother of his wife, his grandmother-in-law, and she explained how back in the day, in their own homelands, the pots were quite small, and the villages were relatively poor, so the only way to bake something or to fry something, whatever, is to cut it into small pieces. And if you had ham, well, the whole ham didn't go in it, so you had to improvise. So you see where I'm going with this. Let me give you one more example. You had Rudolph. Rudolph grew up in a village in Suriname. And Rudolph's father, David, was quite stern and direct in how he spoke, how he talked, and also he used to get physical also with his children, to so-called discipline them. Now, Rudolph married a Dutch woman. He fell in love later in life, moved to the Netherlands, and he had children over there. One day, when correcting one of his daughters, he had people looking weird at him. Next day, a police officer came to his house, asking if everything's all right, because he heard that there was domestic violence going on. He was taking domestic violence. And the police officer said, yeah, we heard from people that you were being very hard on your children. I thought, yeah, sometimes children need a big slap in order to teach them how to be respectful. Immediately the police officer said, okay, hold on, sir. Later that night, he was in handcuffs. And Rudolph was thinking, what the hell? I did not sexually molest my children. I did not abandon my children. I'm a faithful husband. I go to work to feed my family. What that goes on? Here's the thing. The way Rudolph was raised by his father and the adults around him, it was child abuse. But because that's all he knew, and he never realized how damaged he was by the child abuse, he himself, as a damaged adult, began to damage his own children and those around him. He was not even aware of it. Now, it's sad that he had to come to an arrest for him to start realizing something was wrong, namely wrong with him. But let me tell you, just like Rudolph, that's how a lot of people are. Maybe not when it comes to child abuse. Because some people realize very quickly, what the heck is this? Beating children. But maybe with other things. Maybe you are in toxic people pleasing. Now, there's nothing wrong with pleasing people. When you go to another country and you obey the laws of the land, that is people pleasing. If there's a dress code for a party and you conform to the dress code, it's also pleasing people. Pleasing people is natural. Toxic people pleasing is not. You can't please people at all costs. It's not even allowed. I mean, what if your partner wants to commit credit card fraud? And because you're so in love with your partner, just comply with him. It will even get you in prison. So, toxic people pleasing is never okay. There's certain things you should not comply with. Simple as that. Amen? But what if now you grew up in an environment where any type of criticism on your part, or any type of question because you were uncomfortable with something, was met with either gaslighting or with verbal violence. You learned you're only allowed to speak or talk if people allow you to. So everything in your life had to go by permission by your parents, because your parents were quite controlling. And people around did not correct nor deal with your parents in how they were mistreating you. So you grew up on survival mode, always having to make sure others are okay with you. And now later in your life, this has become the way you operate. You don't know any different. And because of that now, you end up being taken advantage by other people. You even end up with a narcissist as a marriage partner. God forbid you have children with this narcissist. And now you have children growing up in a toxic household too. And you don't even realize that you're part of the problem. I'm just saying it over here. A lot of people are operating on outdated knowledge. What is outdated knowledge? Outdated knowledge is knowledge that does not apply anymore, or knowledge that's best not to be put into practice. That's outdated knowledge. Think about the first example I gave to you about Jack and the gasoline. Okay, it was practical back then for people to carry jars with gasoline or barrels with gasoline in the back of their car. Even for them, it was something quite dangerous. Now, is it still possible to do this? Yes, but you better not do it because you'll put yourself and others at risk. The second example of the hemp. Practical information that was good in a specific context. Now that the context does not apply anymore, it becomes waste. Okay? So, in life, you have to stay updated to what goes on around you. Okay, let me give an example. Let's say you grew up in Florida and you want to visit your hometown after 20 years. You want to show your wife and your children the school you went to. So you go to the neighborhood where you went to school and you keep driving around for hours but you can't find the school. And eventually the locals tell you, oh, the school building was demolished 10 years ago. There was mold everywhere and eventually it was cheaper to demolish the building and build something new. So now there's a mall over there. So you cannot show your childhood memories to your children by showing them the building at the school because the building does not exist anymore. But you were not aware of that. So now you need to disappoint your family that, oh, I can't show you it anymore, only pictures because it has been demolished. Now, your children and your wife don't mind, but you feel a bit stupid. Why? Listen, you didn't do anything wrong, but it would have been better if you checked first, did some research first to find out if the building's still there. Because things change within those 20 years. Look, let me give you another parable. Anthony and his friends went hiking in Michigan. They were never found again. So a rescue team went to look for them. And long story short, they sank in quicksand and died. And then an investigation started because the parents wanted to know how could this happen. Now, long story short, Anthony and his friends had a map from the state of Michigan that showed all the places that had quicksand on the trail. But guess what? The map was from 2005. And that map was based on a research done in the 1970s. So it was a map based on research from 1970s. In 2007, when a lot of people disappeared when they found the quicksand, it was discovered that there were more locations with quicksand than previously thought. So in the year 2012, they did another research that lasted for 2 years, and they figured out, man, there's far more quicksand around here than we thought. So they had an updated map in 2021. But because Anthony and his friends had the map of 2005, not knowing there was a more recent map, guess what? This lack of knowledge, it cost them their lives. Well, let me tell you, that's exactly how a lot of believers go through life in the here and now. They operate in outdated knowledge. And outdated knowledge will not get you far. I mean, let's say someone who studied IT applies for a job at, let's say, Microsoft today. And they look at the resume. He graduated in 1998 for IT. And he only worked in IT for like 5 years after that, till 2004. Somewhere until 2004, he worked in IT. Do you think that this guy will be suitable for a job at Microsoft in 2025? Now, if he stayed updated and he followed additional courses and he's up to date, he will. But the only thing he has is a 5-year work experience at some computer shop from 1999 to 2004 and an IT degree. It doesn't matter if the IT degree came from Harvard or Cambridge. The fact alone that IT changed since 1999 so much, he coming with a degree from 1998 in 2025 is not going to go well. I mean, social media wasn't that didn't even exist back then yet. Not in the way it is today. So, and now social media is kind of the norm now when it comes to online communication. You need to know about that. What if the guy doesn't even have an own email address, but still does think the traditional way? Can he work in IT? Well, he'll likely his application won't even be considered further. Because they don't have the time to teach all these basics. But the guy can say, I studied IT and won the top university in the world. Yes, sir, you did. But it was 1998 that you graduated. It's right 2025. I mean, by the way, by the time I'm recording this audio, it's still 2024. I'm using it as an example. He comes with a 27-year-old diploma. In those 27 years, a lot changed. And he thinks that the time that passed doesn't matter because he's a senior, he should be taken seriously and should get one of the best salaries. It doesn't work that way. Look, I want all of you believers who listen to this to operate in updated knowledge. Keep your knowledge updated. You need this. You cannot operate in outdated knowledge and get ahead in life. And let me tell you, a lot of people out there, it's a cultural thing, operating in outdated knowledge. Not all of them end up in very dangerous and toxic situations, but they don't end up in beneficial situations either. So stay up to date and check your knowledge so you're not operating in outdated knowledge. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.